Okay, so now that we have our cracked texture here, we can now move on to doing a road marking as just a sort of finishing touch onto the texture. So I'm just going to throw down a shape node, and then I'm going to keep it as square, and I'm going to bring my size down to 0.08. Leave this at 1 so we have this sort of stripe here, and that's going to be the basis of our road marking. Let's do transformation node so we can move that in a second, and then do a blend, and then set this to add. And then I'm just going to duplicate these two nodes down to here and put that into the background here. And then this one at the bottom, we're going to bring the Y value down just a little bit to 0.92. You can make this a little smaller or wider or bigger for your purpose. This is going to be the more dotted line that goes along with the long single line. And now with the 2D transform, I'm just going to move either one a little bit over to the left and right. There we go. So now they kind of sit like this. Let's do an invert grayscale and an edge detect. Now let's keep the edge detect at 2, but let's bring the roundness down to 3.95. I'm going to put a blend node down and then set this to subtract. And that way we get just the solid white line, but with a little bit of curve from our roundness, and it also makes it a little bit thinner. So let's put in bevel node. Let's bring this to minus 0.02, and we'll keep the rest of the settings as they are. And let's do edge detect coming. You could just come off this or the one previously, but we'll set this to 1. Our roundness to 1.69, so we get a proper edge detect, unlike the one previously where it was joined in the middle. Let's invert grayscale, and let's just duplicate this bevel node and keep that there. I'm going to put a levels node after this bevels node, and I'm going to just round out the value here by pulling the gray up a little bit, just so it sort of rounds our edges off here. Blend node, and I'm going to pop down a moisture noise just to get some variation along the surface. I'm going to keep this as standards now. Feel free to mix it up a little bit, and I'm going to set this to multiply at 0.09, and then I'm going to put down a range node and leave that at 0.5 and 0.5. Let's finish off this line here. So we're going to do a blur. This is just going to give me a wee bit of an edge lip along the edges of the road marking. This can be 1.04 and auto levels after that. And let's finish doing this histogram range line. So let's just bring this up a little bit. Move that over. And let's do a blend. This can go on the background. And we're going to just bring this up here, and we're going to pop down a slope blur grayscale. And the input for the slope is I'm going to take the height from our Tarmac texture. Put that in there. Set this to full 32, and then set our intensity to 0.52 with a mode of min. And then this goes on top with a mode of screen at 0.45. And then We'll duplicate this auto levels, and then we have that. And you see we've got this edge variation along the edge here. Let's put another blend node down, put this into the background, and then we're going to take our height, our cracks. We have our cracks and our height that we're going to use in this this node here. So let's take the histogram scan from our cracks. Let's just move this all up a little bit. Set this to 0.41 with a contrast of 1. And then let's just blur it a little bit here. Quality to 1 and intensity to 0.82. Safe transform. Let's put degrees to 1.5 so it rotates it around, and then pop this down on top as a multiply at value of 0.05. And I'm just going to do another blend node and set this to multiply, and I'm going to use our height and just multiply our height down on top of this a little bit, just to give us some bumps along the surface of the road marking. Let's do a value of 0.07. Let's do a slope blur, grayscale version. Put the samples up, put the intensity to 0.05 and mode to min. Let's do a high quality blur. Let's take our cracks. Let's set the quality to 1. And let's set the intensity to 1.56. And let's put that into our slope. So it just eats in based on our crack texture. Put a blend node down. Bring this into our background, and we'll take our height from our cracks and subtract it. A value of 0.11. Again, there's some more of that stone variation along the top surface of our road marking. And then we're going to put directional warp down, and I'm going to warp this based on a little bit of directional noise 4, and I'm going to put the rotation to 90 degrees and then warp that a little bit on that, and I'm going to have it at 10, and I'm going to have this at 90 degrees, so we get a little bit of warping out of the bottom and the top. Again, just get some more of that stone information. We're going to take our height again and overlay that on top. Let's do an auto levels. Now I'm just going to do a wee bit of housekeeping here so it's a bit easier to see. I'm going to put down an AO node. This can be our AO for this road marking. Let's put our height depth to 0.05, and we can put the samples to 16 if you like. Let's put a normal node down. I don't need to be too exact, so I don't need to use a height to normal world units for this one. And we'll keep that intensity at 1. And let's do a normal combine. Pop that in there. We're going to make a normal map here, so let's come down here. Let's put in a grunge 03. Let's bring the contrast down to 0.27. Let's do a bit of a blur. Quality to 1. 3.69 into a safe transform, and we'll tile that twice. Do a levels node. I'm going to bring up the black values and pull down the grey values. Duplicate our normal node. Plug this into normal, and then let's do 0.41 for the intensity for that, and then combine that with our normal map there. Give us something like this. So let's, just before our normal map, let's do a non-uniform blur grayscale, and we'll pop an in version of itself, and so that we get some nice blurring there. Let's go 2.03 for the intensity. A little bit of entropy, 0.51. No symmetry, and let's do a 90 degrees so we go down. Yep, let's go 90 degrees. Sample 16 and blades 9. Let's see what that looks like now. Yep, that looks a lot better. So to blend this down onto our cracks, I'm going to use a material height blend. Let's expose the channels that I want. So I don't want diffuse, I want base color, normal, no specular, no emissive, no glossiness, roughness, no metallic, ambient occlusion, and height. Let's pull this back here and just start plugging in our material there. So let's base color into base color, normal into normal, roughness into roughness, AO into ambient occlusion, and height into height. And in fact, let's do that the other way. So I'm just going to put it into compact material mode, and then I'm just going to pull this off and move it onto the second material. And then let's pull this over here. Now let's plug our normal map into here and our AO into the ambient occlusion. And let's find our height map, which I guess is here. Let's go down, put that into our height. So there we go, that's what we've got so far. So we could do with a bit of color. So let's do a gradient map. And let's add a few colors in. Let's do a blend. And I'm going to add in another gradient map. And I'm going to use this for our dark color. Let's put down the dirt node. Put our AO to the AO slot. And let's pull these over. Let's create a curvature smooth. Plug our normal map into that, and then plug our curvature into the dirt. Let's put our dirt level to 0.56. 0.33, 0.09, full edge masking, and then use this as a blend. So we get a little bit of dirt there. And then do a blend, and we'll put this to soft light. Let's put our gradient on top of that. Or curvature, sorry, into a gradient and put that on top of that. Now let's put that into our color slot. Excellent. So let's just do one last thing. We're going to do our roughness. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. You can make it a bit more complicated if you want. I'm just going to take this grunge. I'm going to take this grunge and blend it with the uniform color. Let's do grayscale, plug that into the bottom and put this value to 160. And I'm going to bring this down to 0.08 and plug that into our roughness. And let's drag this in to see what it looks like. Let's go on ahead and move this transform down just a little bit, so it sits a little bit better in our scene. Now for our material height blend values, we're going to use a value of 0.26 and 0.96 for a contrast. And then we're going to reduce the opacity to 0.87 and 0.52 for albedo matching. We just get some of those stones start to poke through and start kind of erode away a little bit, and feel free to make this as broken up as you want by just changing the height offset a bit more, depending on how many cracks you have as well, to match it. And again, some housekeeping. And that is our worn tarmac texture complete. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial to the end. I hope you've been able to learn something useful from this, and as usual, if you'd like to get your hands on the source files, they can be found at the link in the description below. I'll see you in the next one.